Hey guys, how are you? So I wanted to give you an update on what's been going on. We have spent the last couple weeks. I have spent the last couple weeks enjoying not being on chemo. My platelet numbers have subtly gone up, but not enough to start chemo again. So I have been enjoying. This is now the 5th week I've been off of chemo, and it's so fun to have people share how much I feel, seem like me, and I really feel like me, but even a better version. And I think that's exciting because this new awareness for me about like the side effects of chemo really are temporary, and if I have to go back on chemo, the future can be okay. I think when you're on it for a long time, I'm basically a year, it it can feel pretty miserable at times, and then to imagine that that might be what you feel for a long time is scary. Like, what if those side effects don't go away, kind of thing. But we last week met with the hematologist, and he wanted to understand my spleen is subtly enlarged. Should be 12 centimeters. I think it's 13.7. They feel that that inflammation is due to the chemo that's being stuck in there. I'm not producing enough platelets. We're doing a bunch of tests. I have an ultrasound for my spleen as well. And after that, we're going to decide, does the spleen stay, spleen go? I take a med to increase platelets. We're, TBD. So more to come on that. One of the things that happened last week also, or 2 weeks ago, was I got my scan, my quarterly scan. My last quarterly scan was at the end of October 25th, I think. And the great news is the scans are pretty much a mirror of each other, which means, at least from a visibility perspective, the cancer has not, that which is visible, the cancer is not spread in that regard. And also my CEA markers, my cancer blood markers, are down from December. So chemo has been doing its thing. And I was talking to the oncologist, and she was very pleased with the scan, so that's great. And we talked about next steps. One of the things the surgeon had found in the fall, I think I may have shared this with you guys, is he had found some striations, some white striations inside my body, and he identified those as cancer, but they're not testable. It's like you have to take out whatever they're on. And his concern in taking the stuff out was that I would wake up with 1 bag, if not 2 bags. And so that's why he paused. He wasn't sure that I was mentally ready, and he was right. I was not for that. So when I got the scans back and she said everything looked really good, I guess that was just a week ago when I talked to her. I did the scan 2 weeks ago, but I talked to her a week ago Tuesday. I said, look, what do we do about those things that you don't see on the scan? And she said, well, maybe you should talk to the surgeon and, talk to him about what's possible. So we did that yesterday. And guys, I got to tell you, I was so afraid for this appointment with the surgeon. This is the only person to date that has said that I might die from this. And so I was afraid about what message I was going to get yesterday and how I was going to handle it. I think Monday was like I was in an all-out panic, but I went in I don't know how to explain this, but like a quiet panic. The panic was on the inside, and I kept feeling like I needed to cry, but like the dam would not break, kind of thing. And so I carried it all day. Yesterday morning, I woke up and felt, I had a good cry at the end of Monday night, but yesterday morning I woke up and I just felt like such a quiet sense of calm, like you can do this. And it was some really good news, talking to the surgeon. He was really pleased with the scans. I think his fear was that, things would just keep progressing. And so I think what he identified ultimately after the conversation was he said it's really 2 options or 3 options. He was very supportive of going in to do a laparoscopy, look inside my body to see kind of the state of the disease, which is also the pre-step or the pre-game for the big HIPEC surgery again too. So it serves us both. Like, I get a look in, he gets a look in, and then we, are talking about having a conversation post that so that we could determine whether or not I do the big surgery. what he proposed to me that made this very different. And that is, do you want to go through this surgery and possibly get a bag, a colostomy bag or a colostomy bag? That is possible to reverse. I mean, the plan, if I were to get one, he's not even sure I would get one, but if I were to get one, more than likely it would be temporary for, 2 years. And if cancer has not come back, then we could reverse the bag. If it has come back, I'm not quite sure, how long you get the bag for and whatever. But the real equation is, or the real options are, and Brian said this at the end, the end of the day, which was like, do you do a surgery that you might have a temporary bag for 2 years and feasibly been done with cancer, right? We've extracted it out of your system. It's not even there anymore. Or do you do chemo for life and have some kind of routine where you're on chemo, and when you're on chemo, you have kind of reduced capacity. And when I look at those two options, I mean, this is just off the top of my head, or in my gut, I should say, is probably a better read, and in my heart. I mean, chemo for life does not sound appealing. And so I'm finding myself looking in the eye of this surgery and saying, I can do this, and I've done this before, and if I have to deal with a bag, then I have to deal with a bag. But, I mean, Brian ultimately said, if you could get rid of cancer, would you do this surgery, and have 2 years with the bag, so the rest of your life you could be cancer-free? I mean, of course I would. Obviously, there's no absolutes is the word I'm looking for. There's no absolutes here, right? And so ultimately, we have to trust what our capabilities are. And I had a great conversation with my dad last night, and just talking about different experiences from growing up in sports or different places where, I just didn't let things stop me. And I just kept going after it. And it's interesting, I was talking to Brian about last night, it's always been important to me, having been a pretty good athlete, is like to not be the showboat athlete. I've never really appreciated those people that want to brag on their game. Like a person, show me how you play, and just go play. And I have respect for you for playing. You don't have to prove anything to me, kind of thing. But I think that's also kind of limited me from honoring or experiencing the memory, because, it's not a big deal or whatever. But as my dad shared some of the experiences back with me, I realized, well, those really were exceptional moments. And I have to remember I have the power to honor exceptional moments and do exceptional things, like a surgery with a bag. And I mean, if I do this, it'll be my 4th abdominal surgery. I mean, I know I can recover from that. So that's kind of where my head is at there. Some other learnings that I've been having over the last couple of weeks is, I think it was last week when I was having a concern. I was having some abdominal pain. So I was just thinking the worst case scenario, whatever. And I know I shared in the last video, I think it was last video or last 2 videos, this fear of like I don't want my story to be a Lifetime movie, I mean, let's be honest, they're pretty good. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing to be in a Lifetime movie, but I mean, sometimes I imagine like my story is like I think the fear is that it will become a tragedy. And that word, when I was journaling last week, came up. And I think I've always had a fear that since I was a kid, that somehow the challenges I was facing kind of in my growing up, and like just all the work and all the things I had to go through and mental health and all those things, that they actually pointed to something bigger, that my life would be tragic in some way. And that I had no conscious awareness of. I don't even know where it came from, but like it popped out. And this is the interesting thing with coaching. And, I guess in a way I'm coaching myself through that. But like sometimes you hear a word and it's everything. Like it pieces everything together. It becomes the bridge. Like, whoa, like where did I ever build that story? It's not like I had a horrible upbringing. I had a great upbringing. I mean, it was intense and we were definitely driven to be super successful, but I had loving parents and great siblings. And, I was lucky to be successful in school and sports and things, and had great friends. So it's not like anything was inherently egregious or horrible, but I just think probably the intensity of my emotion and not ever really feeling like I kind of belonged, like I was almost like, I feel like I was born as like I always say Logan was born as a 50-year-old person, but I think I was too. Emotionally, I was really drawn to kind of like the deep topics and concepts, and I think I was maybe moodier in that regard. So I think just realizing that I had this word like tragedy in my head, and I'm releasing that. I don't need tragedy in my life. And I also heard, I'm trying to remember who it was, but in one of the videos I was watching, someone was talking about, okay, universe, I've learned the challenges that I need to learn from this. I've learned the lessons that I need to learn from this challenge that is cancer. I'm ready for it to be wrapped up and move on to the next thing. But I do think last fall had to happen exactly the way it did, so that I could imagine and remember how much courage and strength I have and how much power I have to decide my life. And even talking to the surgeon yesterday, what's different between now and in the fall is that I think he was trying to push me. Well, he was trying to do what he thought was right, so out of fairness to him. But I felt like I was being pushed. And I mean, one thing in my family, don't push us because we will dig in. And so I think that part of me was like, I'm not doing this massive surgery from fear. Just like I had said to Brian in the fall, if I do this surgery, it has to be because I wanted it. Because if I have a massive side effect from it, or I am not, happy or whatever, the last thing I want is to blame you. And I can't. If I chose to do it, it's my choice and it's my outcome that I have to deal with. It's nobody else's. And that clarity, which sounds so basic now, but I was really busy serving what everybody expected from me, that yesterday, now I'm in his doctor's office going, yeah, I am pretty freaking strong. And he specifically made a comment about the quality of my health at the moment, and gives him a lot of confidence to do the more aggressive surgery if that is something I'm open to doing. So I had, when I was talking to my dad last night, I think I had a little bit of a emotional realization that more than likely the surgery is the thing I need to do. I've not fully decided, but I'm progressing that way. So a number of you I know have shared with me offline, when I made the decision to go chemo maintenance, your concern and fear, and all out of love for me of, the sustainability and all those kinds of things. And my plan was always like, do chemo maintenance until we find the drug that knocks it out, and then, we cure it that way. But I think probably surgery is the way to go. So more to come on all of that. I want to just say thank you to everybody. I've had so many of you reach out like, hey, what's the latest? How are you? What's going on? And I so appreciate that. I feel like coming up for air finally, it has been an intense year, and I'm really proud of still being here, and I was proud to be in that surgeon's office and have him say, "You've done well with chemo." And I was like, yeah, of course I have. My body is strong. So I think that's kind of all I have for now, but thank you guys for your ongoing love and support. And I'm going to keep you posted as I progress through this. I'm feeling strong right now, both physically and emotionally. And yeah. So thank you everybody for your ongoing love and support, and I will keep you posted. Have a wonderful day. It's a beautiful spring day here on the East Coast, so I'm enjoying some time outside. So be well, everyone. Talk soon.